guess I wouldn't classify any of us as extreme environmentalists, but we all do have an interest in the resource, and we wanted to make sure that the management of the ranch was in line with future sustainability of the resource.
Sustainability is, just being able to survive in the conditions that are on your plate. Basically, I mean, we've got to operate at a level that will carry us through to the next year and the next year after that, and protect our resource and not watch it all blow away.
I think sustainability is not so much as that you just burn down everything and start over, as it is a process of fine-tuning. If something isn't, maybe it's not perfect, so you fine-tune a little bit. It's a little bit like painting your yard fence one board at a time. You get a few boards painted and you think, boy, that looks a lot better, and it was relatively painless. Maybe we should paint a few more boards. It's just kind of a step-by-step process. This area we're standing in is an example of a pasture of several thousand acres that had a very unreliable water source, which would be about a mile or so, I guess, over my right shoulder. There was a single spring that ran a very short period of time each spring. So this pasture is one that we chose for a water line. Serves several thousand acres of this kind of country. It's dry, rough, rocky pasture. But in the past, it was totally useless. So this is a good example of one that we developed. Storage tank up here, stock tank on a ridge behind me, several tanks in this pasture. Just a lot of projects on every level: grazing, livestock handling, timber, game management. We feel that we've had an impact in all of those areas, plus our flood irrigation, hay production, things like that.
Water affects everything, I think, especially on this ranch. We're flood irrigated, so river water in the spring, that's the basis of our irrigation system. So, and our stored water too. If we don't have river water, then we tie into our stored water and use it all up early, and then we don't get any fall regrowth. So that affects our how much we have to feed our calves in the fall and carry them on as yearlings. Water in the hills, if we're in a drought, it's harder to disperse the cattle. Highway reconstruction, they just shoved the ditch over to the side rather than properly account for the increased gradient. So what we've done there is we've built some drop systems in cases like that, where we've corrected drop. We've taken a lot of really fast ditches that basically paralleled the river. We've plowed those all in, resurveyed them, slowed them down, put them more on a contour so that we can recapture water for use a second and third time. Basically, it's just irrigation, and concentrate on keeping it slow and keeping it efficient. And I think over time we've seen our crop, the tonnage has increased, but also the population of grass, the thickness of the grass it's really thick now. I think going into the future, it's kind of just a continuation of what's happened the last 20 years. There's projects we're looking at things that benefit the ranch and the resource, that the long-term sustainability, basically. There's probably going to be some more logging, and there's always water projects that can be done, and it's just basically continuation and going forward. There's things always kind of in the back of the mind that could benefit the resource and benefit